one gold coin, how to feed a family for an entire year. Step back in time to the year 1300, where a single gold coin could do the impossible, feed and protect an entire family for a full year. While you might drop this kind of cash on a new smartphone today, in the muddy, frozen heart of medieval Europe, this one disc of metal was the only thing standing between a family and certain death. You're about to discover the shocking reality of an age where one bad harvest meant starvation, but this liquid sun could buy 500 gallons of ale or a child's entire future. This journey through chaotic markets and towering cathedrals reveals the ultimate survival secret of our ancestors. This true story could outshine any movie. Close your eyes and feel the cool, heavy weight in the center of your palm. This is a golden sovereign, or perhaps a Florentine florin. In the year 1300. This is more than currency. It represents a sum of money so vast that it could sustain a household of 5 people for over 365 days. With this gold, a family would never worry about an empty larder or a cold hearth. To understand this power, you must step out of your modern shoes, feel the damp, soft earth of a medieval village beneath your feet. It is the first grey light of dawn. You are standing in a small hamlet in the heart of Europe. The 14th century is just beginning its long journey. The air is thick with the scent of wood smoke, wet straw, and blooming clover. Behind you, a peasant cottage rises like a golden mushroom from the earth. Its walls are made of wattle and daub, a mixture of woven wood and mud plaster. Inside, a family of 5 is stirring. There is a father, a mother, and 3 children sleeping on simple pallets of hay. They are covered by heavy blankets of wool that smell of the hearth. But for this family, the gold you are holding isn't just rare. It is a total impossibility. For this family, the gold coin is a thing of legends. They might only hear about it in stories from a traveling minstrel, or perhaps they see it from a distance in the hand of a tax collector. Their daily lives are actually governed by the humble silver penny and lead tokens. A common labourer in this era works from the first light of the sun until the last purple shadows of evening. He might earn only 2 or 3 silver pennies for a full day of backbreaking work in the Lord's fields. There are 240 silver pennies in a single pound of silver. Because gold is worth so many times more, your one coin is equal to hundreds of days of grueling manual labour. Imagine standing in the doorway of that cottage. The mother is stirring a thick soup of dried peas and oats over a small fire. For her, the cost of a year's supply of grain, nearly 24 bushels of wheat, would be less than half the value of that gold coin. If she took that coin to the market town 6 miles away, she could buy grain, jars of salt for preserving meat, and enough thick linen to sew clothes for her entire family. As she sets off on the long walk to town, she is about to enter a world of sensory overload. As you begin your own walk toward the market, you hear the rhythmic clop-clop of a merchant's horse. The fields are divided into long, narrow strips. Neighbours work side by side, guided by teams of 8 oxen whose breath mists in the cool morning air. On the horizon, you see the soaring spire of a distant cathedral. It is a masterpiece of stone that took over 100 years to build. You reach the stone gates of the town. They are guarded by men wearing padded armor and carrying long iron-tipped pikes. Suddenly, you leave the quiet country and enter the vibrant, chaotic energy of medieval commerce. The sounds hit you first. You hear the clatter of iron wheels on cobblestones. You hear church bells calling the faithful to prayer. You see a servant empty a wooden bucket into the stone gutter in the street. The smells are a thick tapestry of life. You smell the pungent hides of the tanneries and the sharp metallic tang of the blacksmith's forge. You smell fresh bread rising from the communal ovens. You push through a crowd of people dressed in red, blue, and yellow wool. But even in this crowd of merchants, the true purchasing power of your gold is about to become startlingly clear. In the market square, hundreds of wooden stalls are ready for trade. You stop by a merchant selling thick furs and barrels of salted herring. You realize your one coin could buy enough fish to provide a main meal for 36 families every Friday for a year. You pass the spice merchant, where the air smells of black pepper and cinnamon brought from thousands of miles away. You see a wealthy woman haggling over a silk pouch that costs several silver shillings, still just a fraction of your gold piece. You watch schoolchildren with leather bags hurry toward the cathedral. For their father, the cost of their entire year's education would be but a small chip off the value of your gold. In this world, the social ladder is as solid as the castle walls, yet your gold is liquid wealth. It can cross borders and bypass the rules of land ownership. You see an officer weighing bread on brass scales to ensure the town's laws are upheld. This focus on measurement is the backbone of the economy. If you walked into the local tavern, you could buy a gallon of ale for a single silver penny. At that rate, your gold coin could buy over 500 gallons. That is enough to keep a whole village merry through the coldest nights of winter. But this gold represents more than just food and drink. It is the ultimate weapon against a deadly season. You begin to see that wealth is not just about the metal. It is about buying time and security. In a world where one bad harvest means hunger, the person with gold is the person who can afford to survive. You look at the houses with overhanging upper stories that nearly touch across the narrow lanes. You see carvings of flowers and mythical beasts on the wooden doors. This is a world of detail where you know the name of every craftsman. At the docks, workers use ropes and pulleys to unload heavy barrels of wine. You realize that human nature has not changed in 700 years. We still want to trade and provide for our kin. As the afternoon ends, you walk back through the gates. The heavy iron bolts slide into place with a loud thud. The town is now a fortress for the night. The journey back to the village is quiet. You think about the winter that is coming. With your gold coin, a family could buy 300 pounds of salted pork and 50 pounds of hard cheese. While the wind howls and the snow drifts high, they would have a warm fire and plenty of food. As the light fades, you realize this coin is a bridge across time, connecting their survival to our own. As you reach the edge of the village, you see the flickering lights of hearth fires through small windows. The sense of community is powerful. People here rely on each other for everything. The gold coin, if spent wisely, would ripple through this entire community. It would pay the mason to repair the bridge and the priest to maintain the chapel. It is fascinating to realize that today, we might spend this value on a luxury vacation, but in 1350, it represented the total security of a human life. The streets you walk today were the stage for a high-stakes drama of survival. You were connected to these people of the 14th century. They were our ancestors. They loved their children and feared the unknown. The gold coin was their ultimate insurance policy. As the night sky fills with a sea of stars, you imagine the family falling into a restful sleep. The silence of the medieval night is deep and profound. You have traveled through time using your imagination. The gold florin and the village hearth are part of a grand story of human strength. The year 1300 was a time of beauty and transition. One gold coin was truly the wealth of a lifetime. It provided peace, health, and hope. This truth shines as brightly today as it did 700 years ago. And though the coins have changed, the search for that same security continues in every busy street of our modern world.